we take existing buildings and repurpose them or bring them back to what they once were in their glory days.
And you do so in a sustainable manner.
Absolutely.
And do you make money doing this?
Well,
Sounds expensive.
Well, we wouldn't be in business for 35 to 40 years if we
Right.
were doing it incorrectly.
Right.
And we make money doing this.
You have some tough choices when you refurbish an existing building. You can minimize your capital costs, but maybe sacrifice a little bit in terms of your operating costs. Can you tell me how you make those decisions?
Absolutely. For ourselves, we look at what is a guest experience going to be, first
Right.
and foremost. Let's start with mechanical first.
Okay.
Because that's a big impact on the guest experience.
Absolutely.
Your ability to be able to heat and cool the room.
Mm-hmm.
For us, we look at finding systems that are different than the typical systems that are out there today.
Mm-hmm.
In our case, we've picked a system. It's a Mitsubishi 2-pipe Freon-based system.
Yeah.
And what it does is it does an energy balance. And so let's say that you have two rooms that are opposite ends of a building.
Mm-hmm.
On one side, you have the sun facing that room, and the other side, you have obviously the shadow in that room. The room that has the sun facing it, that guest may elect to have the AC unit on, right, to cool the room.
Sure.
On the opposite side, you may have a guest who wants the heater on.
Right.
So the energy that is being displaced in the room that has the AC unit, it's being captured and then used in heating the room where the guest wants the heater on.
And what happens to that heat if nobody wants to heat the room?
That's a great question. What we end up doing with that is that we end up capturing that and heating our domestic water within the building.
So this is a really efficient system. You're not throwing that heat away.
Absolutely. It's very, very efficient. We've seen great cost savings in our monthly electrical bills.
So being energy efficient, reducing your environmental footprint, you're saving money, but that's got to cost more money to put in a system like that.
Absolutely. It is a lot more capital intensive up front. Sometimes it's 30 to 40% more capital intensive.
Okay.
However, your monthly bills are substantially less than what you would have had with a traditional system. And it's sometimes a half to a third less than what it would be. So what you end up seeing is that, yes, from a payback perspective, yeah, it's about 4 years. But another way to look at it is that my NOI, my net operating income, is a lot higher because of this system than I would have with the other system.
And that translates into your bottom line how?
So we do these systems because we're actually holding on to our buildings. We're holding on to our hotels that we have. But if I was to ever sell the building, my net operating income divided by a cap rate, and therefore it increases my value of the building.
So you're making it two ways. You're making it in terms of saving money, but you're also just increasing the value of your company and your property.
Absolutely, absolutely. As long as my net operating income is higher, divided by the same cap rate that I would have, regardless of the system, is increasing the value of my building.
So give me a summary in terms of how this works for the customer and for you.
It's about making sure that the guest experience is great. But at the flip side, it's about making sure that we, at the end of the day, are bottom line profitable.
Talk to me about how the link is between your profits and the development of a community, the economic development of a community.
When you see a building like the Hotel Shattuck Plaza, built in the early 1900s, and the fact that this hotel hadn't had any capital improvements for 20, 30 years, when we come in here, we look like heroes. We've restored an existing building versus tearing it down. What it once was, the glory of it is now being retained again.